Welcome back to Baking with Bee. If you notice, the kitchen looks a lot different than last week's episode. That's because we are here in Montreat, North Carolina with my beautiful mother, Lisa Allen. Today, we are going to be making a maple pumpkin cheesecake that my mother is famous for. It's my dad's favorite, so I thought it'd be fitting with the Halloween and Thanksgiving coming up soon. So this was contributed by Susan Onan from the Chattanooga Time Free Press. What you're gonna need is 1 1/4 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of margarine, 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese that's softened, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 1 can of pumpkin, 3 eggs, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. After the maple pumpkin cheesecake, you add a maple pecan glaze. We don't really do pecans, we don't like nuts, so you can do it totally without the pecan. It's 1 cup of whipping cream, 3/4 cup of maple syrup, and if you are a nutty person, 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. So let's get started.
Great. This is a recipe I've been doing.
You can stop.
Oh. What? Okay, so this is a really easy recipe that you can fool a lot of people with because it seems very complicated when you taste it, but it's incredibly easy. It's a lot of ingredients, but you literally just throw them all in a bowl, so it's easy. Important thing, preheat your oven to 325, and you have to have a springform pan, which is something that was very new to me in baking, but it makes your cheesecake come out a lot better. First, you got to do the bottom, the crust, which is, I'll let Caroline read the recipe since my glasses are on my head.
So you just combine the graham cracker crumbs and sugar and butter.
And then you mix all that together.
And you just press it in the bottom of the pan. Easy enough?
Easy enough. Okay, so once that's mixed together nice, you just pour it into the bottom of your springform pan and you press it down.
Now, could someone, well, I guess they couldn't buy just like a graham cracker crust with
Yeah, you can't, and as the recipe goes on, you'll see why it won't work as much. And it makes it nice because it's not a lot of bread, not a lot of crust to it, since it is a cheesecake. Okay, then.
All right, so now that that's done, the next thing we're gonna do, you're gonna take out a hand mixer or a KitchenAid mixer if you're fancy, but we're not, so that's okay. And we're just gonna beat together the softened cream cheese until fluffy.
Yes, which I hope our cream cheese is softened enough, but we will find out in a minute.
Now it might take a little bit more beating.
Scrape the sides a little bit to get that. Our cream cheese wasn't quite soft enough, so we may have to beat a little bit more later.
We were a little excited to start.
Yeah. Well, and I guess I can admit that a lot of times I forget that it takes 3 blocks of cream cheese, and I only buy 1, or sometimes I buy 2, and it might be just the way I have the recipe written. So don't forget, it's 3 blocks of cream cheese. So after that, Caroline, I think we just literally pour everything in.
Yeah, you just gradually beat in the sweetened condensed milk.
Okay.
So when they say gradually, just like, that means
I'll let you pour.
Okay.
You could do it two-handed, of course, but it's easier when you have a partner. So this is the part that's fun, because you literally just throw it all in there. Bring that to you. I buy a big one because you're gonna need it again for the glaze. So keep that in mind as you're buying it. 1 1/2 teaspoons is about this much, right? Not much. So this is how we measure the cinnamon.
We don't measure. We're a big cinnamon family.
Yes,
so.
and I'm convinced that's why this maple pumpkin cheesecake is amazing, because I literally do that much cinnamon. I would say that was a quarter, well, maybe not a quarter of a cup, but it was definitely a good 5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Then I also like this pumpkin pie spice because it has a little bit of the nutmeg and it has a little bit of everything in it rather than measuring it all out separately. And it just gives it a nice, of course there's more cinnamon in that, but it gives it a nice another flavor.
So that's an addition you can add to the recipe.
If you want to put it on there or not. Yeah, it's really to your liking. Did it say salt, Caroline? I think there's a pinch of salt.
Yeah, half a teaspoon. So
Okay, so I just kind of...
She's more of a professional than I am. So like last week when I was measuring out everything,
yeah,
she just got it.
So I think that's it. And then this is... I'm going to scrape the sides down one more time because there's still some cream cheese and pumpkin on the sides. And just get all that in there. Because then what happens is when you go to pour it into your cheesecake, into your graham cracker crust, it has like clumpy white cream cheese. Yeah. Now I'm going to do what you're not supposed to do, right? I'm going to take the spoon and put it into the raw eggs and taste it for the level of cinnamon because I'm serious. We love cinnamon. And to me, that's perfect. You can absolutely add more if you wanted it. And literally you take your springform pan and your graham cracker crust and you just pour it in.
Oh, that goes so nicely.
It's perfect.
It's a lot more liquidier than I thought.
It cooks for a long time. I believe an hour.
Yeah, I guess an hour and
15 minutes. About an hour and 15 minutes.
We always underbake a little bit.
Yeah. And every oven is so different. You'll know when it's done. It'll be a little bit brown on top. Mine always cracks. They're not supposed to crack. Mine always cracks. But it doesn't matter. It's still edible. So that's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. Time it for an hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll make the glaze once it comes out of the oven.
See you later. All right, so the next is going to be the maple glaze. We do a cup of whipping cream. Right?
Yeah. Just in a small saucepan.
Mm-hmm. Put it in the saucepan. Mm-hmm. And then this is a 3/4 cup. So if you don't have a 3/4 cup, you could do 3/4 cups of maple syrup. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And that's it. Oh, well, yeah.
I say that's it.
If we wanted to add pecans after we do this stuff, we could.
Right.
But
you can read the recipe for that part because we cut that part out.
We don't like that.
So you mix that all together and then you're going to heat it up on the stove until it thickens. About 20 minutes I think it takes. That's why I'm starting this early. You're really supposed to pour it over the cheesecake when the cheesecake is cooled, but I sometimes can't wait that long, so I just go ahead and pour it over the top. So I'm going to take this, put it on the stove, and keep stirring for about 15 to 20 minutes.
And that's just all you do for 15 to 20 minutes?
15 to 20 minutes you stir. I think the recipe says you can let it go for a little bit. It's going to come to a low boil, and you just kind of keep mixing it so it doesn't burn on the bottom. Just wait for it to boil.
We'll wait and see what happens when the cheesecake's done. Alright, so the maple pumpkin cheesecake is out of the oven, and now we're going to put the finishing touches on it.
And then you just pour it, literally. Hence the reason you need the springform pan so it doesn't go everywhere. My cheesecake got a little bit higher this time, so I'm not going to put quite as much maple on it. And that's it. I'm just going to let it sit on the counter for a little bit, let it cool some, and then it needs to refrigerate for a couple hours before you eat it, obviously, so it's nice and cold. That's it. Easy breezy.
Don't forget, comment if you want a specific recipe or you found a good recipe, or if you just want a type of dessert. I'll try it next week. Oh, this is my lovely mom. Thank you for being here. And you know, she might be back later towards Thanksgiving when we make our way back to my hometown. All right. Bye, guys.